Is Toronto's real estate market cracking under pressure? Previously, especially in Richmond Hill, you would have to go fight probably 15 other bidders, and probably you'd have to overpay to get that. But now you go there, you do your due diligence, you run your comparables, and then you can also negotiate the price to get the best deal. Very close to 6 months of inventory, so pure buyer market territory. There's so many condo choices out there. You're just gonna hurt your listing. And if you're gonna have a shot of selling this, that's gonna get eliminated, and you're gonna just help other units sell. Guys, before we go further, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share it with anyone that you think would find this useful. Now let's get back to it. Is Toronto's real estate market cracking under pressure? What's happening in Toronto's real estate market? Because April numbers are telling a different story. Welcome to Reality Check, where we discuss what's happening in Toronto's real estate market, where it's going, and help you make informed decision buying and selling real estate. I'm sitting with Sanaz.
Hi, everyone.
And what we're going to talk about today is what happened in the month of April, because as we know, elections just happened.
So Nima, what do you think is going to happen now in real estate market after the election is over?
So, well, Liberals are elected, and we're actually going to talk about Liberals' housing plan overall and what they have in their party platform. But I think the part of uncertainty about the election is over, but we still got a big piece of that, which is the tariffs and what's going to happen with the United States, because every day it's a new topic with Trump. You know, we got the tariffs, then he wants to take over Canada. There is also a lot of uncertainty in the world. China housing market is collapsing also, which we don't see a lot of that in the news. There's a lot of mortgage defaults happening in China. Again, due to the economy, due to what's going on with the tariffs, a lot of factories have shut down. So all these things will have a ripple effect in North America. But I think one thing for sure is, at least now the election is behind us, we know at least what to expect with the government. Yeah. But before going into what's going to happen, now the Liberals are elected, let's go and dive deep into what's going on with the market. Okay, so month of April was an interesting one because everyone was kind of waiting to see what happens with the election. Election is over right now, and the numbers for the month are in. So overall, what happened in the month of April? Sales figures. We're right now over 5,600 sales. Last one, we were just over 4,000 sales. And to put things in perspective, last March was the worst March since 1996. And despite the population growth, the sales numbers haven't picked up. April sales picked up, rightfully so, because it should have picked up because it's the spring market. We're over 5,600 sales. And just wanting to compare that to last year, sales are down by about 23%. Comparing it to the year before it, it's down by 25%. And if we compare that all the way to 2022, and if you recall, 2022 market was coming down in April and May, it pretty much like market came down from the heat of it back in February. So from the April of 2022, we're down 30%. But what's going on with the inventory levels? So the inventory levels have shot up drastically. I think in the last 12 months, we have the highest active listing numbers in April.
We know that.
There's so many listings to choose from. So we've hit over 27,000 active listings in the last year. The highest active listing we had seen was last October, which was just over 25,000. So right now we're over 27,000 listings. So the active listings from March has gone up by 40%. From the year before, it's gone up by 54%. So because of lower sales figures and higher inventory numbers, the months of inventory has gone up. So right now we're close to 4.9 months of inventory. Last month we were at 4.84. So it's somewhat close, but comparing it to last year, April, and if those people who were in the market last year, we saw activity come back, meaning there was a lot of multiple offers happening. And the reason for that was low months of inventory. We had 1.9 months of inventory back in April of 2024. And for those who recall, right after it, towards the end of April, the government announced the capital gain tax rule that had come into effect, which pretty much it didn't come into effect. They said there's a new capital gain tax rule that's going to come into effect as of June. So people rushed to put their homes on the market and the inventory levels built up. But, we realized that in January that was all just talks. It never passed. And even CRA was actually sending letters to people demanding them to pay the new inclusion tax, which had gone up to 67%. But right now, again, with what we have right now, 4.9 months of inventory. So this is buyer market territory in majority of the areas. To put things in perspective, Toronto market is very close to 5 months of inventory, which is pure buyer market territory. But keep in mind, these numbers take into account the condo inventory. So if you're looking at Toronto, if you're looking to buy a freehold townhouse or a semi, not a lot of options to choose from. But if you're looking for condos, especially one bedroom plus, then there's tons of inventory out there to choose from.
And there's many options for you guys.
Yeah. So with that being said, we want to look at a few of the other areas to see what that months of inventory is. So Mississauga is 4.88 months of inventory. Overall prices are again down just over 3%. The inventory in Mississauga has gone up by almost 60% and sales are down 20%. The other area we want to track is York region, which has gone up in terms of months of inventory to 5.77 months of inventory, very close to 6 months of inventory. So pure buyer market territory. Inventory is up 55%, over 55%, and the sales are down 30%. So if you're in the market and if you are looking to purchase any area that is over 4 months of inventory, you're going to have a better chance of getting a deal. Yeah.
Basically, as a buyer,
yeah.
If you're looking to buy, yeah. I'm sure you're enjoying our episode. As always, just don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friend.
When we mention there's higher months of inventory in certain regions. So for example, when we just discussed York region, being close to 6 months of inventory, the benefit of that for a buyer would be, 1, they have more options to choose from. 2, there is less competition for them. So when they go out there, previously, especially in Richmond Hill, you would have to go fight probably 15 other bidders, compete with multiple offers in order to get a house, and probably you'd have to overpay to get that. But now you go there, you do your due diligence, you run your comparables, you do your home inspection, you make sure your financing is in order, and then you can also negotiate the price to get the best deal. And listen, if you can bring the person you're negotiating with to the price point you like, you can move on to the next house. We always tell our clients, especially in this market, pick your top 2 or 3 homes, and let's start putting offers in. And if we can get the first offer in, well, it's done. If not, we move on to the second one because there's so many to choose from. So this is the benefit of purchasing in areas with higher months of inventory. So with that being said, I just want to go through one area that is doing pretty well in terms of inventory, and that's Durham region. So it has just over 3 months of inventory, 3.18 months of inventory. And the reason for that is the average price there is just lower than $1 million. So when the price point is below $1 million, there's a lot of purchasing power. And to this day right now, for the last 12 months, we've been seeing a lot of homes sell much quicker, especially in the freehold segment in Durham region. But with that being said, the active listing numbers have hit pretty high. So right now, the active listings in Durham region is up 57%, almost 58% compared to last year. Sales are down by about 19%. But even with that, the months of inventory is still pretty low compared to other areas. So
Nima, in the same market that we're talking about right now, you sold a house in Aurora in 9 days. How you done it? How you've done that?
So this goes across the board.
Yeah.
So this goes across the board with any listings that you have. In order to get a listing sold in this market, 3 things need to happen. 1, you need to make sure it's presented well. That includes doing your pre-list inspection, see if there's any issues in the house, fix those. Make sure to fix up the house. If the house needs painting, needs to, change some light fixtures, there is some repairs needed outside the house, get those things done and then do the staging. Yeah, as an example, in that house that we sold, we started prepping the house since January. So we did the home inspection, we painted a couple of rooms, few fixes needed to be done. So we did all of that. And at the very end, we staged the house, and the homeowners were really nice enough to even vacate the home for a week because we were under the impression we were going to get a lot of showings.
How was your showings? We're talking about, people have a lot of options in this market,
So
how was your showings
9 days on the market, we had about 10 showings.
Which is amazing.
Which is good. I expected more personally, but again, it was good. It's not about the number of showings, it's about the quality of the showings. You could have a lot of people come see a home and not bring an offer. But going back to my point, there are three things that needs to happen. So one is the presentation. Two is the marketing. So we got beautiful photos. We did a bunch of small clips, videos to advertise. So the marketing piece was there. And last but not least, pricing the home at the right price point. Before going on the market, we had a couple of homes that sold that brought down the area average prices. But that didn't really deter us from actually pricing it where we should have priced it to begin with. So we priced it correctly, and we did all the right advertising and all the right presentation. And by the time one offer came in, we went back, talked to a bunch of other people that were interested, that saw the home, and we encouraged them to bring offers. So I remember we got an offer, let's say at around, I believe around 6, 7 p.m. We got another person to bring an offer by 10, and the very last person that brought an offer, I think, came in just after midnight. And by next morning, so we had 3 active offers, and we actually ended up selling it over ask. So the house was not set up for multiple offers. It happened naturally. And the reason that it happened naturally was due to the house looked really good, marketing was there, and all the little components, and the pricing was right. All the little components contributed to the fact that people felt that they had a chance to buy the house. So even though the first offer that came in, it was much lower than the asking price, the second offer came in, really good number. Third offer just blew everyone out of the water, went in over ask, and
well, that's amazing.
It was congrats
9
to them.
days, yeah, exactly.
But with all of that being said, this is the market that you need to make sure all the components are done right. I want to talk about personal experience recently I had. So we had a client that wanted to sell a condo, and the condo is situated, by the water, but the problem was similar to that condo, same floor plan. There had been 2 other units for sale in the last 6 months. One of them was still on the market, and none of these units had sold. Our client wanted to list this property higher than the other 2 units that had not been sold yet. So I just told them, this is not the market to try something like this, because 1, you're not going to sell. There's so many condo choices out there. And 2, you're just going to hurt your listing. And if you're going to have a shot of selling this, that's going to get eliminated, and you're going to just help other units sell. Yeah. So we just walked away from that listing because it just didn't make sense for the client to take on such a risk of just putting the condo on the market for the sake of having it on the market. Guys, before we go further, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share it with anyone that you think would find this useful. Now let's get back to it. That goes without saying that we had another condo unit at Nobu Condos.
Okay.
And
that one sold very nice.
So that one sold, I believe, I think it was around I think maybe 10 days, 14 days on the market. But we sold that for a record price. So that sold close to $1,400 a square foot. Reason that we were able to sell that for $1,400 a square foot was, one, again, the presentation. That condo was staged. It looked super nice. The marketing was there.
Definitely.
We used magazine style photos, and everything was done up very nicely. We did a lifestyle video on that. and we advertised small clips of that. We had a lot of inquiries just coming in from the advertising. And third, the pricing. Even though it was not low, it was priced so strategically that there was no competition to it. Meaning, if someone was looking for a condo with a view, wouldn't just be looking at Nobu, they would be looking at Nobu, Bisha, all the other condos. So there was no other unit with that view, with that style, that could compete with it at that price point. So if someone really wanted a condo like that, that would be the only options. And how do we go about knowing how to price it? You can't just price a condo based on that building. You got to look at the larger area. If someone is looking for a condo, 2-bedroom, let's say around 900 square feet, they're not just looking at Nobu. They're going to look at all the competition. They're looking at Bisha. They're looking at a few other units that are condos that are around the area. So you need to know exactly what's going on in the area. So in this market, if anyone is looking to sell condos, they need to make sure, one, it's presented well.
Call us. The second.
Well, you can call us. Yeah. First, you need to make sure you've presented it well. It looks as good as possible. And two, you got to price it right. You can't expect to price it high thinking someone is going to come buy it, because there are a lot of competition out there. So yeah, that's, I think, pretty much thumbs up the stats for the month of April and a few
we're
other.
aiming for a better May.
Well, hopefully we're going to have a better May. But before we end it, I want to talk about the Liberals and their plan for real estate, because a lot of things have happened since the election, and each party had their own platform for real estate and how they're going to address the housing affordability. So the Liberal government has promised to build about 500,000 new homes across Canada, and how they're planning on doing it is through a few channels. First of all is they want to up the number of affordable housing that's getting built by providing $25 billion in financing to those companies who can innovate in building prefab homes. So that's one. Two, they want to do $10 billion in low-cost financing to help builders who build affordable homes. So these two are through, I would say, lower cost financing in order to get the homes built. They also want to cut the red tape to make it easier to build. So all the municipalities, they want to get the municipalities on board to cut the red tape, cut the development charges in order to lower the cost and fast track the building. And thirdly, which I think this is going to be one of the biggest ones that's going to help not only the buyers, not only the buyers, also the builders, is that they want to eliminate the GST for the first time home buyers on brand new homes under $1 million. So, I mean, will that be a lot of money? I don't think so, but again, that's a good step towards making homes affordable. So far, this is the plan. In terms of how this is going to get executed, remains to be seen. But I think in the short term, if anyone is looking to get in the market, the opportunities are there, which is the new financing program that came into effect as of last December 2024, which was the 5% down payment with 30-year amortization. So that we've had a bunch of our clients take advantage of that. And two, there's a lot of condos right now up for sale. There's good sized condo, two bedroom plus dens that people can buy at a very good rates and get into the market. As a matter of fact, I mean, I saw a nice 2-bedroom condo, brand new, near Parkland and Lakeshore in a condo called Water's Edge. And we actually sold that pre-construction back in 2018. And prices back then were good. Even right now, they're really good. So a 2-bedroom condo with parking and locker can be purchased for about $580,000. So, I mean, that's on assignment. This is a really good deal. This is a brand new condo. So there are assignment deals out there. So if you're looking to purchase on assignment, make sure to contact one of our team members. We got a group chat in there. We put in daily deals in there. These are hand-picked deals. Yeah, these are really good deals that if someone's in the market, they can get into, and usually they are below today's market value. I think that's pretty much it.
Definitely, as Nima said, if you're looking for assignment deals, just reach out to one of us. Actually, it's 4 of us, so they're not here, those 2. So just give us a call, contact us. We're here to help you.
And guys, before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share it with anyone you think that would find it useful. Till next time, have a great day.
Have a good day.